All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you right there, just like me right here. All right, my friends in this wonderful band, the Bridget Kelly Band. There's Bridget, and next to her, kind of behind her, is guitar player Tim Fick. He is he is a force of nature, Tim Fick. Even if this type of music doesn't appeal to you, you got to go see this band live because they're absolutely amazing. This is their brand new album. It's called Winter's Coming. Damn title. Uh, Love these guys. They're just good people. Blue collar rock and roll with lots of blues in there. Bridget, the sultry singer, and Tim, the insane vocalist, guitarist. The sparks just fly out of his guitar. And he can sing too, by the way, Tim Fick. He does sing some songs, and he's a decent singer. So really super talented band, Florida-based band, and that's how I got into them, because this is where I live, and these guys will spend months on the indie blues charts, and nobody will hear about it. So that's why I have decided to continue to promote their stuff. Plus, they sent me the album. Good people. All right. Speaking of good people, Brian Johnson is out there, the lead singer from AC/DC, and he says he's never voted in his life. Now, we've got this little election thing coming up, and this video, of course, is going to go off the rails for some people. They say, just don't talk about politics. And I used to have a policy where I used to get mad at people that would talk about politics. You know, I did a 180 a couple of years ago when we had this thing demic, and we had insanity, and we had Stockholm syndrome, and we had mis and disinformation. And it was opposite day every day, and it's still opposite day every day. You turn on the media, and about 99.9% of it is complete garbage. And Brian Johnson, who is the singer in AC/DC, who has written or co-written songs like Hell's Bells and For Those About to Rock, We Salute You, and Thunderstruck, right? The guy who sang and probably co-wrote, if not wrote the whole thing, at least lyrics, is out there being way smarter than 99.9% of the news media. So anyway, they're interviewing Brian Johnson. He's got a car collection. He likes cars. He's like Jay Leno or Jerry Seinfeld or Sammy Hagar. There are a lot of car enthusiasts out there. It seems like when you're a guy and you've got lots of money, you go out and you purchase a bunch of cars. It's like me, I collect CDs. That's what I can afford, right? I collect CDs. They collect cars. And the interviewer is asking Brian about the cars he owns, which I think is fine. And then the interviewer tried to tell Brian that electric vehicles are the future. Oh, man. Now, I'm sure Brian has a whole bunch of classic gas-guzzling muscle cars and, you know, sports cars, whatever he owns, right? Johnson, though, was having none of it when it comes to this interviewer. And look, why even go there? He's having a good time. He's 75 years old. He's lived a remarkable life, whether you like AC/DC or not, which I am a huge fan. Johnson shot back. It's not the future. They're dirty. They're going to be dirty to get rid of, too. Electric's where it's at because politicians want to look green in front of people. It's all nonsense. F them. Yeah. Johnson, who turned 75 on October the 5th, went on to say that he isn't a fan of politicians on either side of the Atlantic and revealed that he hasn't actually voted in his life. Okay, so that paragraph right there is designed to discredit Brian Johnson. First of all, he's an old man. He's yelling at the kids on the front lawn, get off my lawn, kids. Electric vehicles suck, right? And he's never voted in his life. So He's part of the problem. He's the reason we've got all these problems. And Johnson says, people go, oh, well, it's your fault then, meaning it's Brian's fault. And I go, no, it's your effing fault for voting these cretins in, he said. What would happen if both the candidates got 0 votes? Revolution. That's what effing happened. And we'd get the right people in. So interesting. Now, there's a certain, version of libertarianism that I kind of enjoy. And it's people that basically say, look, none of this is going to matter. None of this works. Now, I voted. Full disclosure, we have early voting here in Florida. I went out and voted the first day I could vote. Now, I do believe sincerely that it can help, but I also believe that at the top of the food chain, it helps more locally, like in your state, in your county. Those things I think really matter because you can reach those people and have conversations with those people. You can have some of your concerns addressed. I've actually had emails answered, which is pretty crazy, but it's good. Or I could walk into someone's office and say, hey, you know how you voted on Ukraine? Could you stop doing that, please? Bring some of that money back to your community where it's most needed because our roads are falling apart. So yeah, but at the top of this food chain is the president of the United States. Now, again, there is a pretty big difference between the current president that we have and the last president. There's a big difference, no question about it. But I'm still under the impression that there's somebody or something that's above that. Now, you might refer to that as like the deep state or the military industrial complex or something like that. I think it's like another executive, whether it's one person or multiple people. There's another executive that probably is somewhere in the Capitol or at the Pentagon or possibly scattered throughout all of these alphabet soup agencies. And that executive, that sort of ultra executive branch that's higher than the president of the United States, ends up calling all the shots. If you go against that, you're persecuted. You get impeached, not once, not twice, maybe 3 times, right? Your house gets raided. Your kids get targeted. Your taxes are constantly in the news, right? If you go against the narrative. And again, I'm not ringing the bell for Donald Trump. I'm just saying this is what's happened. Oh, and all the people who supported that stuff, they get labeled as domestic terrorists. So all of this because you voted the wrong way or you believe the wrong thing, and it all comes down from that executive, which is above the presidency. Anyway, all that to say that I understand why people don't vote. They look at this and they go, WTF, this is not doing anything. It's a pendulum too. Now, you caught a break a few years ago. You were paying like $2 a gallon for gas, right? And your 401k was really good, and the economy was booming, and you were able to get a good job, and there was upward mobility, and you could go buy a house. Interest rates were low. All of those things are demonstrably true. So anybody who comes back and says, "Oh no, that's not true. Things are about the same. Inflation is the same." See, I go to the grocery store. I know, some of these fat cats who've got lots of money, and I don't know if Brian Johnson actually goes to the grocery store, but there are a lot of people. I guess he lives in Sarasota too, so I should go try to find him. Maybe he and I can hang out and have a pint. We could have a pint, mate. We could just go out and enjoy it. That would be cool. Anyway, Johnson continued on in this interview. He expressed his distaste for politics in a 2020 interview conducted just days before the U.S. presidential election. Brian, who has lived in Sarasota, Florida since 1995, explained why AC/DC has never aligned itself with a political cause. He says, "Bullocks to politicians," he said. "F them. I want nothing to do with them." Oh man, it's interesting. The title track of AC/DC's 1990 album, The Razor's Edge, is thought to be the only song by the legendary band which is a rumination on global politics. There's fighting on the left and marching on the right. And that's about as close as they get, apparently. What's interesting, though, is Brian destroys the so-called green agenda. He just destroys it because there are a lot of problems with electric vehicles. California, for instance, told people who owned electric cars that they couldn't charge them between like 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. or some crazy time like that. The reason, well, it's not a crazy time, but just it's a crazy thing. The reason essentially was because they're running out of electricity in the state. So yeah, I'm trying to do my part to clean up the earth. And folks, we're not plugging electric cars into solar panels. I know there are people that generate some solar power themselves, but most of this power is coming from quote unquote dirty energy sources, which again, we have the technology to clean these sources up and make it so at least you have a functional power grid, right? But we're getting to the point now, and people in Europe are going to be experiencing a lot of problems this winter because of that pesky war in Ukraine, which everybody just loves to support, right? All of these politicians who support it and all of these media types. Look, it's cool that Brian Johnson is smarter than 99.9% of the media. It's cool to watch, and it's good to see. And I understand why he wouldn't want to vote, because it seems like a useless endeavor, even though I did it and I continue to do it. Hey, I've got my own form of Stockholm syndrome, right? 2+ years of watching people wearing underwear on their face. I'm definitely in that Stockholm syndrome, and hopefully something will change. But I'm in a wait and see holding pattern. I mean, if this doesn't work, then I think the best thing you can do is try to protect yourself, protect your family, work locally, vote locally, because the whole thing is just a dog and pony show, at the national level. And it's just horrible on your senses each and every day. It's like getting waterboarded, and we're in this pattern that just doesn't seem to want to end. Anyway, I want to plug these guys again. The Bridget Kelly Band, Winter's Coming, kind of dovetails with the topic. Not a political band. They've written some really good songs, though, about like substance abuse and human trafficking and things like that. But even that now, oh, you're one of those people who believes in conspiracy theories. Yeah, conspiracy theories like human trafficking. Okay, whatever. Politics is a very omnipresent thing these days. In fact, you can check out my other channel. It's called The Radical Independent, where, I have some hardcore guests over there, and every so often I do a rant. The channel is growing over there. I'd like to keep both channels growing, so you can check out The Radical Independent, but continue to subscribe to The Real Music Observer as well, as I continue to build out this platform. And if you can support me via Patreon for $1 a month, that would be excellent. If you can do 2 or 5, whatever amount. I'm also over on Odyssey and Rumble. Rumble has not been a lucrative platform for me. Odyssey, quite honestly, looks to be more promising. They have a membership program. You can sign up over there for like $5 a month, and that all goes right to me. So if you want to support and get a membership over there and you don't want to watch over here, that's cool. I know there are a lot of people that just don't like one platform or, another platform because of certain reasons. So in any event, I understand that, income is way down from where it was last year. And I'm not sure why that is, but I have a hunch. All right. I'm done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.